Welcome race fans to day 5 in the UIM World Jet Boat Marathon brought to you by Bonnet's Energy Corp. Today's highlight video is sponsored by Railcore X Logistics. Visit railcorex.ca for your one-stop shop for all your railway needs. Legs 7 and 8 today took us on the longest legs of the marathon, from Magoo's Landing just south of Grand Prairie, 58 miles on both the Wapiti and Smoky Rivers to McLeod Flats and back. Boats took off from the start line at 1-minute intervals, starting once again with the fastest boats first. So that means our current overall leader, Gord Humphrey, was the first away from the start line. The next boat to get away was New Zealander Kevin Hyde. Kevin's currently sitting second overall here on day 5. Following one Kiwi was another Kiwi with Regan Williamson and U777 putting the chase on Kevin ahead of him. Regan has a bit more horsepower than Kevin and was able to get around him before the finish on the upstream leg. On the way back downstream though, Gord, who was the first boat away and was sitting with a pretty solid lead, found himself having to get around Kevin Hyde to finish the downstream leg second behind Regan. Met you at the top, everything seemed good. First in, first away, and then all of a sudden you weren't first in after leg 8. What happened, Gord?
Oh, we took a break on the river. Had to fix a little fuel malfunction. Yeah, we got it fixed up pretty quick, and we might have lost 3 or 4 minutes. I don't think it's really gonna, at the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna pay too much of a role for us. So we're just gonna keep going. That's marathon racing. You just keep going.
Spencer King was leading the way as the fastest piston boat and the current A-class leader, and had another solid showing here on day 5. Next to follow Spencer was Tom Kelly in A377. After 2 hard days of racing in Peace River, Tom was sitting only 3 seconds ahead of Darren Cage for second place in the A-class. The first CX boat by our cameras was current CX leader Tanner Froelich. Tanner is leading the CX class by only 14 seconds over Jeremy Han in CX277, easily influenced. Only 29 seconds behind Jeremy was the third CX boat by the cameras, Justin Hill. One CX boat to feature was the CX166 Team Ram boat. They had some unfortunate luck in Peace River with their motor, which they rebuilt, and we're extremely excited to see them back on the water again. A little farther upstream, and the chopper found the team high and dry just off a back channel. With some help from volunteer support boats and ex-racers, they were able to get the boat back in the water and back up to the finish line. The chopper crew also found Jeremy Hand, who was being towed to shore by one of the amazing volunteer support boaters. In this case, Nick Mater was able to lend a hand to Jeremy, whose motor let go on him. Thankfully, he and his crew have a spare CX motor and will be replacing it tonight before running again on day 6. Another CX boat with some troubles on day 5 here is Tyler Boyd in CX-27. Unfortunately, he had a pump bearing starting to go before the finish line, so he opted to park it where his crew could trailer him out of the water. Good news though, the Velocity crew passed him heading back to the launch for some testing by the end of the day. So we're hopeful he's able to join us once again on day 6 here in his home waters. Still leading the way in the FX class is FX37 Rip and Tear Racing. These guys are really ripping and tearing up the water in this year's marathon. Canadian racer Dave Walton is sitting second in the FX class, and Mexican racer Bernardo Rodriguez rounds out the top 3. So after the close on the longest 2 legs of the marathon, some teams are certainly happy to have that behind them. Regan was able to pull a little more than 3 minutes off of Gord's lead in the Unlimited class. Spencer continues to extend his lead in the A class, while Tom Kelly was able to put some breathing room between he and Darren Cage for second. Tanner Frolick laid down 2 more fastest legs in the CX class to extend his lead over the now second place CX racer of Justin Hill, and Denny Main now sits 3rd, with Trapper Woolsey in 4th. Kyle and Quinn are still laying down some fast CX times and extending their lead over Dave and Bernardo. Huge thanks to all the support boats who volunteered their time to ensure all the racers made it back to the launch. With sunny skies and warm weather on day 5, it was awesome for racers, spectators, and race organizers alike. Thanks once again to Railcore X Logistics for sponsoring today's highlight video. Join us again tomorrow as we take to the Wapiti River for another 2 long legs of racing here in the 2025 UIM World Jet Boat Championship presented by Bonnets Energy Corp. We'll see you tomorrow.